Hey everyone, this is Ben back with you in the Midwest Model Shop. In today's episode, we're going to have a legit short video for you. Basically what we're doing is we're installing the ship's main wheel, secondary wheel, and then 5 of the ship's engine order telegraphs, and that's it. And we're touching on a couple other little details around the bridge area that I didn't install last time. And this is on my client's build, so we're going to be utilizing all the KA kit parts for this. Yeah, that's it. Life's been really crazy. Suddenly it's summer. Suddenly it's warmed up. The old job's got me working all the time, and so I don't have as much spare time as usual, which is why we haven't had a video lately, and why I was only able to just get this quick short one out to you. But hopefully you think it's neat. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, I've gone ahead and installed some little details. You can see all the railings installed, a couple of the decals, and then a few of the smaller photo etch pieces that I had not installed last time on the side of, was that A deck right there, and just kind of wrap that all up. So now that that's all done, we can go ahead and move on to some of the more interesting stuff for this episode. Okay, so looking at the bridge once again, I should start by saying that I went ahead and filled in the little holes right here. And several people had said, Ben, why don't you just use some of the Pontos, or I'm sorry, the scale decks, extra decking and put that in. So I did, and it mostly worked out. The issue is getting the wood to match as exact as possible, but since this is going to be covered anyway by the pieces, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. Back here in our bridge, the wheelhouse, I went ahead and installed the KA deck because it has the markings here for the ship's wheel and pinnacle, and I'll get the names, all that stuff, but they go right there. We went ahead and painted the little storm shutters right there, aka DVD players, so that they're ready to go. So now what we could do is start prepping these parts, and we are using the KA kit, and they're awesome. Here's one. This is the one that goes right here that I'm showing you guys now. We'll get it all painted up and everything. Unfortunately, you'll never see it when the kit's assembled. There's just no way to see inside of there, but it's really cool. It's really detailed. Let me see if I can get a better close-up for you. There you go. That's one of the pieces we're going to be working with. And we'll get this all painted up, and we'll get the ship's wheel installed on it, and then we'll do the corresponding pieces that go right along over here. So, yes, let's press on. All right, here we have the main ship's wheel and then the Kelvin binnacle. These have all been primed with metal primer first, and what we're using now is just Model Master Gold to get them painted up here. And I'm using Model Master Gold because these are supposed to be brass, and I've found that if you want something painted brass, you have to use gold colored paint, and that most accurately matches what's in real life. Because for some reason, what the paint manufacturers provided and called brass looks very coppery, like copper to me, almost exclusively like copper. So yeah, this is what we use. Alright, so we'll get this set up and dry, and we'll go ahead and get the ship's wheel applied, and then maybe on the binnacle there we'll put a little like a, I don't know, like a black lens type of area or something like that. Alright, so let's get this wrapped up. Pressing on. Okay, so this is the primary ship's wheel and pinnacle that we painted up earlier, and what we have here is the little photo etch piece that goes on. It's the ship's wheel that goes on it. This is the main wheel that goes inside of the wheelhouse. So what I'm going to start off by doing, because I've already checked this out, see that little nub right there? That's where the wheel goes. We're going to snip that off. I want a flat surface there. This is a detail that unfortunately everyone will see here and now, and when I install it, and I don't think it's going to be visible when the ship is assembled. So kind of a bummer. because it's a neat little piece, but we're going to do it anyway. All right, so this is the main wheel. Now, what I found interesting when I was looking all this stuff up, this was the primary means of steering the ship while at sea. The wheel that's in front of it, this looks pretty good, is the secondary ship's wheel in the navigation bridge. And I guess I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but they've got a bunch of them. So anyway, we'll give that a second to dry, and then we'll go ahead and install it. Here is the secondary wheel. Same thing, it's on a piece of photo etch, and then, or I'm sorry, a turned brass piece, the pedestal, and then we have the wheel attached to it. I saw a photograph of the Olympic that implied that the base of these things, I'm flipping around the back side here, looked like it was painted white, and then you had brass on top. Not sure about when that was done, if that was always the case. This is a lot of brass to polish, so I'm assuming that's right, but it's such a beautiful piece. You want to be able to see it, and in the little game Titanic Honor and Glory, I believe these are all brass still. So I'm going to leave it like that, and we'll go ahead and stick these into position. Okay, we're going to start by putting a dab of CA glue right here, and we're going to grab our Kelvin binnacle and drop this guy into position. Alright, we'll set that like so. A little more CA glue right there. This one will be a little bit more tricky. Alright. Now, I feel like this might be a little far aft, but I don't know. This is where the kit's set up and has a go. All the instructions match this point. So that's our secondary ship's wheel, goes right there. So then right here, this is inside of the wheelhouse. This is the navigation bridge. This is where your primary wheel and binnacle go. And I put down this little floor I think I mentioned earlier just to help with marking out where it goes, because you're not going to see it when the whole thing's together. Well, maybe you'll see through the window at some angle here. Okay, so we'll let that sit in position. So here's this is the main ship wheel, number one. This is the secondary ship wheel. We've got the binnacle, the Kelvin binnacle, and now we've got to set up the telegraphs. And real quick, I want to talk about the way this worked. Is this was all, these wheels were connected to lines, hydraulic lines that worked on an actuator that moved the tiller for the Titanic's rudder. Fun fact, this is very common with old British ships, and it's kind of the idea of the way the tiller worked, right? So like if this is the keel or the rudder and you wanted to move, like this, so the rudder came over here and that would cause the nose of the bow of the ship to go to port side, you'd move the tiller starboard. That is how this worked. So when the Titanic was about to smash in the iceberg and they gave the order for hard to port, they spun the wheel clockwise into the iceberg direction. And what that did is it swung the rudder to the port side, which caused the bow to come to port. And obviously you turned it the right way because they just did a glancing blow. But yeah, these things spun the opposite of the way you wanted to go. All right, let's press on and get the telegraphs built. Okay, so now here we are at the ship's telegraphs. This is the K instructions, and they want you to make 7 of them. We're only going to do 5 right now because there's only 5 in the navigation bridge. But these are the pieces, and this is the steps, and this is the end goal. So let's go ahead and whip this up. Okay, so here is one of the posts for the telegraphs, and then this is like the selector deal. So I'm just going to grab a pile of CA glue, put it on top right here, and then I have some accelerator on the end of a brush that I'm just going to go ahead and put on the base of the selector wheel, and hopefully I can do this so you guys can see it. Just going to hold it together and try and keep it straight for a moment here. Okay. And then that's it. And so we're going to do that 5 times. And then you end up with a bunch of them like that, so we can let them set up and move on to the next step. Alright, so next we have these KA provided Telegraph pieces, decals. They're not really decals because they're photo etch. It's like pre-printed PE that go on to the Telegraph itself. These are meant to mimic the commands that were on the real Telegraph. They are bigger than the photo etch piece that I'm attaching it to. Not really sure how I feel about that yet, because it kind of makes it difficult to put it on and line it up. You just kind of have to do the best you can to make it consistent. But they're a very, very nice touch. It's not like super high detailed, you can't read anything on them, but they have the look, and at this scale I think it's perfect. So we can go ahead and get that attached, and so you do that for all of them. And so you can see what I mean here. See how it's like it's hard to keep the circle symmetrical. I mean, from side to side it's going to look fine, and when this is in the ship, you're going to see it from like this angle, and this will be okay. But anyway, it's a little bit difficult. So anyway, we're going to do that for the other 4 as well. Pressing on. All right, next up we have this little harness. I feel like it's part of the wiring for the Telegraph. It's small, you know, compared to everything else. And if you were doing this and you're like, to heck with that, Ben, I'm not installing that little part, I don't think that there would be anything wrong with that. You're not. I don't know how well it's going to show up once the part's together, but it's there, and so we're going to go ahead and install it. I found it's best to put a little CA glue down here and a little bit up on top. It just kind of floats. The instructions are vague on how it goes, and I also am fairly certain that it goes on the front of the Telegraph, and so you wouldn't necessarily see it in the ship. So I just did a little pre-bending. Okay, I'm really sorry. The battery died on me, and apparently I forgot to hit record, but that's the piece installed. I got it set into position. The difficulty is getting the CA glue to want to stick on the pedestal there, but anyway, that's it. That's the detail. I guess you guys can see that on the screen. This isn't something that I would fuss about getting right, but there it is. So now we need to put the little handles on. That should go better. I'm thinking I can lay the Telegraph on its side, get the photo etch piece out, and drop it into position. Let's take a look at that. All right, this next part's pretty cool. So here's the Telegraph selector arms. It's a nice little piece of photo etch. You know, you can put them anywhere you want. Just try and match both sides, because they work together. You grab one and move it, you know, it makes a noise, and then it the other side moves exactly the same. I think this is a part worth not omitting. It looks really, really cool when you're all done with it, just to have the lever right there. They're a little top heavy, but they look neat. So that's all of them when you're done. Well, the 5 that we're making anyway. They're pretty small. So let's go ahead and get these installed on the ship. Okay, we're going to go ahead and try and do this without making too much of a mess, I hope. Little blob of CA glue there. Alright. So we're going to put this telegraph in position first, starting inboard. And if I've got this right, so why are there 5? So this telegraph right here is one of the linked telegraphs. And it's connected, I believe, to the telegraph that goes right here. Basically, they're just connected. If you are in a real serious hurry and you move this one, that one moves too. So this would be starboard engine, and this would be the port engine, and you would get the command happening at the same time versus having to move over here. This is going to be your starboard engine. You'd move that, and then you have to run all the way over here and send the command over to that side. You know, nobody's got time for that. So those are linked. Now, under normal circumstances, if you got plenty of people on the bridge and you're not in a hurry, you know, you're not going to slam into anything. You just go move these things one at a time. So this would be the port engine, starboard engine telegraph over here on this side. And then right here next to the pinnacle is the emergency engine order. That's what this is called. And this is an independent, oh no, we knocked off our wheel. I'll put that back up in a second. So I was trying to be careful with this. The emergency order engine telegraph is separate from all the other telegraphs. If you have a failure of everything, this thing's kind of like your backup. And that command there is for all the engines to do what you want them to do at once. So we'll get our wheel out of the way here. And then the next one over here, this is your other linked telegraph. This would be the one that goes on the port side. And again, it's linked to this telegraph. Why wouldn't you just use the linked ones? Well, I don't really know, other than perhaps you want, maybe under normal circumstances, there'd be independent engine control. That's all I could think of right there. And then over here is the port main, and this one you can barely see, and it is situated, based on what I saw in the pictures, 90 degrees to everything else. So it goes in like this, and it's just inside the wall of the navigation bridge here. There we go. Like that. Alright, let me get our ship's wheel put on here. Okay, so here we are. Hopefully that stays in focus. There's all of the stuff installed on the navigation bridge. This is the navigation bridge. That is the wheelhouse area, which is separate. So, a lot of brass. Looks fancy. I think it was worth the effort. Now, Neil's Model Works photo etch is missing some detail that goes right in front of the binnacle right there. That is included on the China 3D prints bridge. Definitely is not included on the trumpeter stuff. I'm not missing it here, though, meaning that, you know, you would see it from this view, but that's not how you see the bridge, right? Let's grab the bridge, rest of it here. That's how you would see it, right? So if we move around here to the side, and we're missing there's walls that go right here on the navigation bridge that we don't have installed yet. I'll be getting to those. But this is cool, right? It looks good. There's a ship's bell goes right here, but I'm going to wait until this bridge is on. But yeah, I think that looks good, right? You can see the detail there. So I went ahead and I got to put some more paint on this detail, and we got our light signals here. Navigation lights put on both sides. There's the green one over here. And then here's a view from the other side. looking in, I think that looks pretty sharp, right? I mean, that's what you would see. So we got to get the walls on. There you go. I think that looks really good. That's nice. Okay, so anyway, real short episode today, everyone, and I appreciate your patience. I got a lot of stuff going on home here that I got to get taken care of in a pretty busy work schedule, but we are continuing to press on. So anyway, that's the details there on the ship. I hope you think the forward navigation bridge looks cool, and that you could do something like that on your build. All right, until next time, we'll see everyone later.